Brooke, when all this mess is over and the dust finally settles, please, for the love of sanity, don't take Ridge back. Let Taylor have him. He was totally out of line talking about your daughter like that and throwing your past in your face. You've grown up, you've learned from your mistakes, and you've turned your life around. You deserve to live in peace, without your past being shoved in your face every 5 seconds. Ridge, Taylor, and Steffi? Not exactly the perfect little family, are they? Steffi's actually worse than Hope and Taylor? Well, let's just say she's a lot worse than you. And I don't want to hear another word about Brooke sleeping with her daughter's husband and having his child. Here's the thing. Everyone has their demons. Everyone makes mistakes. The only difference is, some people's pasts aren't constantly thrown in their face. It's unfair that your past is always dug up and tossed at you. So if Ridge wants to be a complete idiot and throw away your relationship after you went to him about Carter's shady business, all because Hope was standing by him for her job back, then let him go. Good riddance. Bye-bye, Ridge. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. And as for Hope, I'm not going to sit here and say she's entirely to blame for this whole SC takeover. But let's be real. Carter is the one who drew up those LLC papers. The guy's a predator. He was clear from the start. His whole plan was to turn SC into what he wanted, not what Eric and his family built. Just because Eric didn't jump on Carter's ideas right now doesn't mean he wouldn't have considered some of them down the road. Hope, she's just looking out for herself. Fired for personal reasons, the whole kissing Finn incident, and professional ones. Her line tanked, she twisted Carter's arm to sign those papers. Why? Because this takeover would bring her line back, and maybe, just maybe, let her get some revenge on Steffi. So, at the end of the day, Hope wasn't thinking about the Forrester family or her mom when she went for this. It was all about her own gain. And let's not pretend Carter didn't have every intention of pulling this stunt from the get-go. If Forrester was really on the brink of falling apart, fine, let it happen. Hope and Carter could have started their own company and made real competition. Call it Chope's House if you want. Hey, welcome back to Fiction Forge. I'm Samantha here, and I'm so glad you're here. We've got some exciting stuff to explore today, so let's jump right in. I've always said that Hope's biggest enemy is her own hope, and here's another perfect example. She's so fixated on bringing Steffi down, she's practically sabotaging herself. The irony is that her plan is doing exactly the opposite. She's handing Steffi everything she wanted. Ridge, Brooke stepping aside for Taylor, and the Forrester family united. It's almost laughable. No one's going to trust the Logans again, and eventually they'll get their company back. Now Brooke can defend her daughter without having to explain her every move. And for Brooke to stand there, saying the Logans are treated like peasants, seriously? They're overpaid employees who think they're entitled to more. At least, the Forrester men might start thinking clearly for once. I'm loving all this drama and excitement. As for Hope and Carter, let's see what kind of bosses they really turn out to be. Some fans believe Brooke doesn't need Ridge, but in reality, it's Ridge who doesn't need Brooke. Brooke really needs to stop babying Hope, especially when she knows, deep down, that Hope and Carter are just as guilty as anyone. Hope needs to face the fact that she betrayed her siblings and the men who've been there for her since day one. Sure, Hope's been acting like a dog against the Forresters, but that doesn't mean Ridge should stoop to calling her names. He has every right to feel the way he does about her and Carter. Brooke should be standing by Ridge, the man she claims to love, not her treacherous daughter. Ridge stands by Brooke, even when it goes against his own interests. Remember when Thomas was ousted from the family and fired because of the CPS call scandal? Ridge turned his back on his own son to protect Brooke, even when it hurt him personally. Now Brooke can't do the same when her daughter, with Carter's help, has stolen control from Ridge and his family. That's a betrayal of the highest order. Brooke is just as much of a traitor as Hope and Carter, because she's helping the two people who robbed the company from the Forresters, knowing full well that it'll hurt Ridge and Eric. It's a betrayal everyone's been waiting for, and now Steffi and Taylor's warnings are finally ringing true. Ridge and Eric are about to see it all for what it really is. Do you think Taylor would ever kick her daughter and grandchild out? Oh, I highly doubt it. Well, we definitely need another "he's not your son/daughter" scandal, right? I mean, Stephanie kept quiet for decades about Ridge not being Eric's son. If she can pull that off, who knows? Speaking of which, is Remy actually Brooke and Deacon's kid? Because that rumor is going around. At this point, anything's possible on this show. Honestly, it's been way too long since anyone got pregnant. How about Luna? She could be carrying Bill's baby after she, drugged him one night. Now that would shake things up. And honestly, Hope should totally take Steffi to court for bullying, harassment, and unfair dismissal. Maybe make it public through Bill Spencer's publications. It's about time someone used his media empire for something useful. Yes, Bill, Carter, Brooke, Kitty, Hope, Rick, Bridget, and Archie should all team up and start their own business. And hire Sally Spectra back too. She's the only one who ever beat SC head-to-head in designing, despite them lying about it. Exactly. It's about time someone shook things up in the world of Forrester creations. Here we go again. Mr. Playboy egomaniac Ridge, playing his usual family card to avoid taking any real responsibility. Running away from Brooke, not just her home, mind you. When Taylor asked, "You left Brooke." Ridge conveniently let her believe it was all Brooke's fault. What he didn't bother mentioning was that he didn't just leave her home. He gave her an ultimatum. Either Hope stays or I do. No room for both. And that's how he told Brooke he loved her too much to keep fighting. So noble, right? But let's be clear, he would never, ever do the same if it was Taylor involved, or even his precious kids. The ones he's been covering up for with their little murder cover-ups, affairs, and the constant manipulation. But sure, Ridge, you're all about making that look like some kind of heroic sacrifice. And speaking of drama, has anyone heard that Steffi's marriage might be on the rocks? Apparently, there's talk of Bridget coming back to the show, and I'm sure that won't stir up any trouble. Maybe a little spark will fly between her and Ridge at the hospital. Oh joy, more of the same Logan versus Forrester nonsense. Can't wait for that to rehash itself again. I wouldn't be surprised though. I'd also heard rumors about Quinn coming back to Carter, but honestly, I'm not buying that one. It's probably just another fabricated plot twist. And Brooke, don't you dare listen to him. Ridge was the one who made you send Rick away for Phoebe's death, which, by the way, wasn't Rick's fault. In fact, it's a miracle he survived the mess Phoebe caused with that crash. Yet Ridge still found a way to make it his problem. So don't make the same mistake with Hope now. Men have their own brains, and no woman can control what a man does, just as no one can force anyone to do anything. Wake up, Brooke. A week or so ago, I predicted Hope would eventually seek revenge against her mom. And honestly, as much as Brooke and Hope are bound by mother-daughter love, I can already see the drama playing out in 2025. Picture this. Hope's floating on cloud 9 after the little coup she nudged Carter into pulling off. She's all smiles, celebrating while Ridge, being Ridge, graces her with the lovely nickname of Nasty Little to her face. Oh, and he tells her, Carter will hate you just like all of us hate you. Charming, right? Ridge doesn't mince words. So once Brooke grabs the CEO position, Hope will think her mom's totally on her side. But here's the twist. Brooke's plan isn't just to save AFTF. She's going to undermine Carter, hand the company back to the Forresters, and hope that'll make Ridge stop being mad at Hope. It's like a loyalty test, only with a lot more corporate backstabbing. Of course, Brooke's plan hits a snag when she sees Ridge cozying up to Taylor. And let's not forget Steffi. She's definitely going to make sure Brooke knows everything about that reunion. So Brooke might just get fed up, mutter a sarcastic "forget it," and hang on to that CEO role for a while longer. Rumors say Brooke might run back to Bill, but let's be real, Bill's probably going to try the same thing with Luna he tried to pull with Sheila. Meanwhile, Katie's saying one thing but secretly wants Bill back, so that's a whole other mess. I don't think Brooke would hurt her sister that way though, so Bill might have to stay on the back burner. Now, Carter might catch wind of Ridge and Taylor getting back together and think, hey, I'll be the bigger person, offering Brooke some friendship. But remember how she and Deacon hooked up? History could totally repeat itself. Meanwhile, there's a rumor that Thomas Forrester might return. Imagine that. Carter seeing Thomas make moves to win Hope back, or maybe Thomas wanting revenge for losing the company and having his dad back him up to sabotage everything. Oh, the drama. But the real kicker is this. We all know Brooke and Ridge are going to end up together again. So after Ridge called her daughter all those vile names and Brooke flirted with Carter while trashing Thomas, it's no surprise Hope might want to seek revenge against her mom for her betrayal. And here's something I don't get. Why does everyone on the show say Carter stole the company? All he did was take charge of it, not own it. Maybe I'm missing something here. And if Ridge and Taylor do reunite, let's not forget that Hope and Brooke are basically the reason for it. They were the catalyst for all of this mess. Hope and Carter made a huge power grab, and Brooke should have backed Ridge and Eric instead of siding with Hope and the enemies of the Forrester family. Yes, she loves Hope, but sometimes right is right, and wrong is wrong. By helping her daughter, Brooke's only digging herself into a deeper hole. So let me get this straight. It's totally fine to commit murder, stalk people, cheat, kidnap, drug others, shoot someone in the back, and leave them to die, and bully people. But the moment you steal a company, that's the real crime. Give me a break. Look, I feel bad for Brooke caught in the crossfire, but let's be real here. Hope's behavior has been downright awful. And Carter? Stealing SC right out from under Ridge and Eric? Diabolical. But Steffi? Her bullying definitely qualifies as workplace violence. Also, just wondering, why does it matter so much today how many men Brooke and Taylor have slept with since the show started? Honestly, everyone on this show has exhibited some seriously messed up sexual behavior, but somehow the women are the ones getting all the judgment. It's crazy. And for the record, Brooke's the one who's been at the heart of the Forrester-Logan drama from the start. And seriously, Brooke better not want Ridge after he called her daughter a slut. Let's not forget, old Stephanie used to call Brooke a slut from the valley too. Now I just can't stand Ridge. What a piece of work. He has the nerve to say that to Brooke after his crazy son did all that bizarre stuff. Like keeping a mannequin that looks like Hope in his apartment and making out with it. Not to mention, trying to frame Brooke for calling CPS on him, among all the other insane things he did. Imagine if Brooke had called his daughter a slut. Ridge has hit rock bottom. Honestly, Brooke shouldn't even shed a tear for him. Blood's thicker than water, right? Instead of Ridge walking out, Brooke should have kicked his sorry ass out and told him never to step foot in her house again. Oh, and by the way, Ridge doesn't even own his own place, and his daughter was going to let him crash at her place. How pathetic. Upcoming highlights. Tuesday, December 17. Eric, Ridge, Steffi, and Zende have decided to put their heads together, because clearly, 4 heads are better than 1 when you're plotting to completely shake up the status quo. Oh, and Katie and Brooke make a huge announcement. Forrester's new regime has arrived, courtesy of Carter and Hope. Can't wait to see how that goes. Wednesday, December 18. Ridge and Steffi are losing sleep as they watch Eric witness the slow-motion train wreck of his empire. So much for legacy, huh? Will, ever the picture of trust, takes matters into his own hands and confronts Remy, who's been busy doing who knows what, with a threat that might just make Remy rethink his life choices. Thursday, December 19. Things get really interesting when Steffi, Ridge, Eric, and Taylor tune into a live broadcast, only to be blindsided by Carter's bombshell announcement. No, really, it's going to be that good. Friday, December 20. Ridge, feeling the weight of his very complicated life, has a sudden epiphany, though something tells me it won't bring him peace. Maybe just more confusion. Is it just me, or is Steffi only able to get along with the man who wants her back, Liam, and her kids? I mean, we're still waiting for Finn to hear the truth about her and Liam's kiss. Yet there she is, ripping into Finn about him and Hope being friendly. And while I'm not saying Hope's actions are completely innocent, Finn's totally harmless, yet Steffi's acting like he's the one in the wrong. Classic. Now, if Taylor and Ridge do reunite, you can thank Hope, and especially Brooke. They're the ones who set this mess in motion. Hope and Carter, yeah, they're totally wrong for taking control of Forrester. Brooke should be backing Ridge and Eric, not enabling her traitorous daughter. Sure, she can love Hope, but right is right and wrong is wrong. By choosing to support her daughter's latest drama, Brooke's only making things worse for herself. And Ridge, please, don't get me started. Taylor never lies to me, he says. Oh, Ridge, do you need a reminder? 2 years ago, Taylor was standing in the Forrester living room, wearing a white dress, lying through her teeth to marry you. You don't remember that. I mean, it's not like it happened decades ago. It was just last year. I can get why you might have forgotten her lying about the affair with James and Hector Ramirez years ago. Maybe it's easier to block out the reasons you left her in the first place. But this one's recent, Ridge. You doing okay there, champ? Ridge's memory seems to be selective when it comes to Taylor's lies. And honestly, I can understand the James thing. Until December 2005 or January 2006, it was pretty clear Taylor didn't even remember sleeping with him. But thanks to Moss and Tylo's real-life affair, they needed a quick reason to break up Ridge and Taylor. The classic advice, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. We all know that one, and if there's anyone who's definitely playing by this rule, it's Brooke. I'm almost certain she's pretending to be on Carter's side just to gain his trust, only to turn around and take him down when he least expects it. Double agent? Triple agent? Maybe, but I wouldn't put it past her to be playing some complex game. She and Katie are probably teaming up, pulling the wool over Carter's eyes, all so they can help the Forrester family take back what's rightfully theirs. Because let's be real, Carter's been using Hope for his own gain for who knows how long. I'm convinced he's got her wrapped up in some scheme to steal a company, take over everything, and probably sign documents in her name without her knowing. And when the time comes, he'll throw her under the bus without a second thought. Oh, and speaking of Hope, what if Liam comes back to his senses and knocks some sense into her? He does know her better than anyone else, after all. He's the one who helped her figure out that Bill Spencer was his biological father, and she's the reason he reunited with his long-lost brother Wyatt. He knows the real Hope, not the one Carter's been messing with. So yeah, I could totally see him coming back to the rescue. And Ridge? Well, Ridge is out here being a mess, cheating on Taylor because he's angry, only to find out Brooke's been secretly helping him all along. Oh, the drama. It's all unfolding right before our eyes. Designers, huh? So who's going to handle the design work now? Or is Carter just going to go on a shopping spree and buy up all the brands he keeps trying to push? And let's not forget, how are he and Hope ever going to redeem themselves once the Forresters are back in charge? Honestly, Forrester's been taken over so many times, it's almost impressive. This has to be the most unstable company in history. They keep getting hijacked, and then, surprise, surprise, it all somehow gets swept under the rug. People either get bored of the drama and return to Eric, or someone swoops in and steals it back. It's a never-ending cycle. The drama never stops, does it? Let's talk about new love interests for Brooke, especially if Ridge can't make up his mind about Taylor. Here's a thought. Imagine Brooke with Dollar Bill Spencer. Now that would drive Ridge completely insane, seeing Brooke with the man he can't stand. And let's not forget, Bill and Brooke have history. They were married, and unlike Ridge, Bill actually treats her with love and respect. He doesn't act like she's his possession, which, let's be honest, is exactly how Ridge treats her. But then again, there's Katie to think about. Can we really toss all that history aside? What about Justin Barber? Sure, he's got a son with Donna, Brooke's sister, and a granddaughter, Rosie. We've never seen him and Brooke as a couple, but wouldn't it be fun to watch that dynamic unfold? It's a fresh twist, and who knows, there's potential there. Or hey, why not bring Nick Marone back? Ridge's brother, Nick, and Brooke share a son, Jack. We could see the sibling rivalry reignited, and maybe Nick and Brooke get closer as they reconnect with Jack. Now that's a story I'd watch. Thorne Forrester, Ridge's other brother, also has history with Brooke. Let's not forget him either, and just for the sake of variety, how about Jack Finnegan? Ted King's character, Finn's dad, pair him up with Brooke. It'd be interesting to see that dynamic play out. But honestly, I'm more interested in why Brooke was crying last episode. Hopefully, it's a moment of clarity, a realization that her so-called destiny with Ridge was never real. Ridge always saw her as a possession, never caring about any of her kids, except maybe Bridget, who he did kiss at some point. 30 years of wasted time, but maybe this is the moment Brooke rises from the ashes like a true phoenix. But who am I kidding? The writers? Their imagination is as stale as ever. We'll probably just see Brooke crying, Taylor doing her wide-eyed thing with Ridge, who'll be all sad and end up in bed with Taylor. Steffi will pretend she's happy for 5 minutes. Hope will fake Carter and Carter. He'll fold like a cheap suit. A new character will probably show up, but the writing will stay as predictable and cliché as always. Same old, same old. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.